Hello there, guys. Today we're with Pedro Gonzalez. We're gonna talk a little bit about taking a leap of faith in your professional life. He's an engineer. He's an entrepreneur. He has experience in the oil field industry. He's an investor from trucking startups to real estate, a jack of all trades. Most importantly, he's my friend and one of my mentors as well. Does that give us a good 30,000 foot view of who you are, Pedro, or would you like to add anything?
No, that's a pretty good view. The only thing I would change is that I started off as an engineer in the oil and gas industry, and now I'm in a sales type position. So I'm an engineer by degree, if you will, but I'm not quite practicing that at the moment.
Okay, and sales that's another profession. That's I bet quite interesting.
Absolutely.
Good. So I want to for the viewers who don't know you, I want us to go back a few years, over 10 years. Take us back to when you were an educator. I think you were at 24, 25 years old when you started off as a teacher, and you made that jump into the oil field industry as an engineer in a time of a lot of uncertainty, to be honest. So can you take us a little bit about what was at the core of that decision, and feel free to elaborate and educate us?
Yeah. So man, we're going back then. So that was about 10 years ago. Was 24, 25, and it's 2009. The market, if for those of you who remember, was terrible. At least the job outlook for new graduates. So when I graduated with a degree in engineering, there wasn't a whole lot of job opportunities out there to be had. And by chance, I happened to run into our old high school principal, who by that time was already in an HR position at the district. And we kind of spoke a little bit, and I told him about my predicament. I just was just graduating and couldn't find a job. He said, "Well, we're looking for math teachers. You've got a lot of math courses. Maybe that's something you could do." And I said, "Yeah, that'd be great. I'd love to." And so one thing led to another, and I started teaching 2 days before I walked or took the graduation walk from UTPA, and I missed a couple of the first days because I was still taking finals. I finished at the end of the summer session, but some of the first days were new teacher orientation and workshops and things like that. But anyway, I ended up teaching. I did that for a year, and while I was doing that, I was going to grad school as well for a master's in mechanical engineering. And first of all, teaching was an exceptional experience. I absolutely loved working with the kids. It was a phenomenal experience, and it was also a very humbling experience. I just graduated college with a degree in mechanical engineering, and I thought, man, I got the world is mine, right? I can do anything and I could do everything, right? And walking into that classroom is like, no, you can't do everything, and you can't do anything. Like, these kids, they had something to say about that, right? So it was really cool to get to learn more about working with people. I mean, for all intents and purposes, the kids at school, I mean, they're people, right? And you get to work with 100 and I don't know, 120, 130 kids, whatever it was at the time. So getting to you got all kinds of personalities there. So I did that, and while I was doing it, I like I had something out. These kids would come and ask me for advice and experience. And I'd grown up in the same school that they went to. I'd gone to school at the university, 60 miles down the road, and now I was back, so I felt like I didn't have as much life's experience, if you will, right, to be able to help them more. So I kind of got this feeling inside of me that I wanted to go out and I wanted to do more, right? Not that there's anything wrong with, with the path that I had walked up to that point, but I just, for me personally, I wanted to go out and do more. And I remember vividly having a conversation with one student when I was trying to encourage him to go to college. Right, he was a sophomore, and he said, "I just don't know if I want to go out. I don't know if I want to do, go to school." And he said, "I just because I don't know what I want to do." And I said, "Don't worry, just go to school, do something. I don't know what I want to do myself."
Yeah.
you know, after that, I kind of like, stopped myself and I thought, this probably isn't the best advice that I'm giving somebody, and it was, I guess, a very honest moment for myself and thinking, what, this isn't my where I want to be in life right now. I always envisioned myself kind of finishing off my career in education, not starting it off in education, right? So and at the time I was reading a lot of books and just being talking about, stepping outside your comfort zone and what have you. And um I just took a massive leap. I saved up as much money as I could, and I thought, I'm going to go back to grad school. I'm going to finish, do something else with engineering. And so I taught for a full year. I did the summer school. I did tutorials, and then I worked at STC as well as the South Texas College at the time. And after that, I went and did grad school again. And then I was very fortunate after that next semester. We at the university, you're always applying for internships and what have you. So I applied for a couple of internships. I got offered an internship, and then I came across Baker Hughes, and they said, well, we'd really like for you to, we'd consider you for an internship, and we could talk about that again, but we think you'd make a great full-time employees, and we'd like to try and interview you for that. But if that's not something you're interested, they said we can come back and we can talk later. And and I mean, I grew up like broke in college. Like I didn't have very much to my name at all. So at the end of that semester, I'd kind of gone through all the money that I'd saved up teaching, and it's like, man, like, do I want to stay here and continue my education, get further in debt, or just try and go out and make some money? And I chose the latter, and then I haven't looked back. It's been a wonderful ride since then.
Okay, great. So it sounds like you had an aha moment with that student, with that sophomore there. And then you
Absolutely.
developed a plan and you're like, hey, I need to, go get my master's, and, got it, open up the opportunity, and you just went with it, and just took a leap of faith.
Absolutely.
That's,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it wasn't, kind of like I had a conversation and we'll quit my job the next day. It's like, okay, you know what? This is the path that I want to walk now, and let me try and set myself up as best I can for success. Right. So I paid off some debt. I saved up as much money as I could. I worked as much as I possibly could to earn whatever I could to save up. And then, when the time came to it, I was ready, at least ready for that semester. And then I said, I'll figure out the rest, when I get there, when I get to the end of the semester. And luckily it worked out.
yeah, and that's an excellent point. And our viewers need to know that at times you may not be in your dream job, but still give it your all, still put all your heart in it, and it's going to lead you somewhere. So that's going to be a stepping stone for you. And it seems like that's what you took it as, that you just embraced it, and you're like, hey, let me work as much as I can, and let me plan for the next step. So that's very good. That's exactly what we want our viewers to do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. So if someone is thinking right now of taking a leap of faith into another profession, how would you recommend they go about that process and some things to consider based on your experience?
Well, I first and foremost, I'd say look deep in yourself. Is that something that you really want to commit to? With those kinds of transitions, there's a look at your place in life. Do you have a family and kids that depend on you, right? And kind of work around that. Like it sounds wonderful to say I'm going to quit my job and just go to something else, but if you don't have something planned out, or you don't have a route to get there, then you could be in for some turmoil. And depending on where you are in life, you may not be the only person affected by that kind of turmoil. I was blessed at that, or fortunate at that stage in my life, that I was a single man, and I didn't have anybody to depend on me, so I could adapt a lot easier. But if you got a mortgage, you got car payments, you got your kids, you got your wife, you got all these things that need to play a factor, I think. So look at that, and if that's something you want to do, I say go for it, and I say plan for it, right? Put yourself up in a position so that you can get there, and you could succeed when you get there as well.
Correct. Yeah, very valid point. We definitely don't want to advocate for people to just quit their job without a plan.
Right.
They need to have a plan before they do that. That way they don't affect the other people that they're
Right.
responsible for. So that's a very good point. Glad that glad that you brought that up. Um, so I perceive that also taking leaps of faith is easier when you have a control of your financial behaviors. When making a big purchase, let's say something above $200, $300, and that number may be different for everyone based on their income, obviously. But you personally, do you take some time and think about those purchases, and how does that differ from a business purchase to a personal purchase?
Well, I'm glad that you brought that up at the very end, because they're very different. If it's a personal purchase, and it's something that I want, and I may go look at it one time and walk away. And if I'm sitting at home and thinking, man, I really should have gotten that, then maybe that's something a little more that I need a little bit more than I wanted to admit at the time. But when it comes to business, in business, you want to make decisions quickly and effectively, right? And there's depending on the size of your business, right, you may look at a $200 decision, and if you weigh on it for 3 hours, 4 hours, your time may be worth $30-$40 an hour, right? So is it worth kind of like sitting around thinking about it, or just go out and do it, because it's something that you need, and it's something that's going to pay dividends for you in the long run, right? And if it's not going to pay dividends for you, if it's not going to serve a purpose for you in your business, then you don't need it. So just decide against it, and move on with yourself.
Okay, so you're talking about, you look at it more like, hey, in a business standpoint, is there a return on investment
Absolutely.
in this purchase? And in a personal standpoint, it may not bring monetary gain, but it would be like, hey, it makes me happy. I bought this $30 book, and I read it every morning, and that's what I enjoy, and that's
Hmm.
fine. Okay.
Absolutely. I just had some guys come out and work on my house, and they laid a slab in the back of my house. That was quite a bit more than $200. Um, I'd wanted to do it since March. It's been something that's been on my mind. I saved up the money back in March, but the economy was in free fall. So you know what? That's not something that I need. It's something that I want. I feel a little more confident in the economy right now, and obviously we're not in a place right now in the world, or at least the United States, where we can just go out freely and fun. So most of my fun has been in my backyard and doing and things like that. I felt like it was something that I'm really gonna enjoy that space. I spent the money. I've been saving up for it for some time, and I feel really great about that purchase. So and I'm not afraid to spend money, but I want to do it wisely on things that on a personal level that I value, that are going to bring value to me, right? Maybe make my life a little bit easier, or make things simpler, improve the quality of life of myself, my family, things like that.
Yeah, yeah, and that's a great transition to actually the next question that I had for you, because everybody defines success different. Everybody, spends their money in differently based on what they enjoy, or what they find valuable. So, how do
Mhm.
you define success in your professional life?
I was afraid of this question. Uh, that's so hard to pinpoint. I think, looking back on the last 10 years, I think what I've tried to strive for is getting to or I guess what I've always defined my own success as is getting to be financially free, which I'm not there yet. So does that mean I'm not successful at that? Not necessarily. I think I'm working towards it. But I think in its most basic form, success is being able to provide the basics for my family, for the people around me in my community, and knowing that everybody's doing well and is healthy, and we're doing everything we can to help each other out. So I think by that definition, I'm wildly successful, and I sleep peacefully at night because of it as well.
Okay, amen. There's a lot of different things that we can do with money, whether it's spending, saving. uh, from a foundational standpoint, we can either spend it, save it, invest it, or we can give some of it as well. What part, for me, that's the part that I enjoy the most. Giving is just being able to bless someone. It's just beautiful, and in my experience.
Mhm.
What has that played a role in your life as of the past 5 years, 10 years? And can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I I give a lot of money away. I don't have a number to it. But I have, you know, people inside of my family. My grandmother. I give a lot to them. I like raising money for charity as well. I've got a project I'm going to be working on later this afternoon to try and raise money for breast cancer awareness. So yeah, I think it's I think you use the word beautiful, and I think that's a fair way to describe it. Being able to give freely, and being able to being able to give now versus where I was, in maybe 12 years ago. I may have given out a few dollars back then, and then kind of turned around and wondered, okay, now what am I going to do for myself?
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
um, so being able to give now, while at the same time, like not having to turn around and worry about my own financial predicament, I think is a blessing as well.
Yeah, good point. So I just wanted to thank you for taking the time off your schedule, your busy schedule, to bless us with the information that you have, and that you've learned through your journey. And I'm very appreciative that you're our first guest as well. Uh, but
Great.
yeah, but again, I just really wanted to thank you from my heart, and that you took the time to go through this journey with us, and share your story.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you for having me. I hope I didn't ramble on too much.
No,
But I'm honored and flattered to be here and to be your first guest as well. I look forward to the content that you'll be putting out. I'm super excited for you and for this journey that you've elected to go and traverse through. So I'll be watching, man. I'm really looking forward to it.
Good. So just for our viewers, I hope you enjoyed this video and found this information valuable. Make sure that you like our Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn page, and feel free to share this video with people in your life. I will continue to work tirelessly to make sure that my content is a blessing in your life. My goal is to help you stop worrying about money, because life has more important things to focus on and relationships to attend to. God bless you, my friends.